Last week, just like you was here last week, ma'am. I forgot your name, but I know you with him. You with Chris. Right? Christina and Chris. That's a cute name. That's a cute couple name. Did y'all plan that? Did you was like, hey, I'm Chris, you should change your name to Christina because her name was Tiffany at first? We'll talk about that later. But she was here last week and she said, I want to give this a go, like a rodeo. And I said, come on, girl, like a rodeo. So start clapping right now for the very funny and talented Carol Covin, y'all.
Thank you all. Carol Covin. You might notice as I stand here that my left hand trembles. About 2 years ago I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And it freaked me out for a while. And then I said, okay, so there must be some things you can do with Parkinson's that you can't do unless you have it. So I started making a list. You want to hear the list? Yeah. All right. So the first thing on the list was to be a bartender. I will specialize in James Bond martinis. Exactly. I could be work in a nail salon. Every morning I'll go in, I'll shake all the little bottles of nail polish. You guys might not know this, they have a steel ball in the bottom of the jar just so you can shake it better, but I can shake it. Every afternoon I'll go to a paint store, shake all the paint cans. I could be a designated driver. As it happens, I couldn't pass a field test stone cold sober. So you can imagine, so I don't drink when I'm going to drive. I went to a Jimmy Buffett concert recently. Now, I'd never been to a Jimmy Buffett concert before, so I didn't know that Margaritaville's signature song meant you start drinking first thing in the afternoon. I got to the parking lot at 4:30 for an 8 o'clock concert and they'd already started. No surprise then, there was a DUI check outside the concert. So I pull off, put my hands 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, and the cop says, how much have you had to drink today? Now, I would have thought he would ask how much have you had to drink this evening at the concert, right? But oh no, these people start all day long. So I said, well, as it happens, I have Parkinson's. I haven't had anything to drink, I can't drink. Move along. No question at all that I wasn't going to be drinking and driving. The last thing is, I could be a musician specializing in castanets. All I have to know is how to wear them. I'd like to change it up a little bit. Let's talk about nipples. So December 27th, 2013, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. 3 years later, here we are. 4 years later, here we are. So it's okay. I mean, anytime you hear the word cancer, it's like all those drug commercials you hear on TV where they give you a list of all the symptoms that you can have from the drug. And the last one is always or death. So when you hear cancer, of course, you know that the last one is always or death. So I started looking for breast cancer surgeons. I interviewed one surgeon. I said, okay, so I've already had the biopsy. I now have a small tumor. So I assume that means a lumpectomy, right? You just take out the tumor and clean margins around it. And he said, well, you're small. Okay, yeah. What does that mean? He said, that means we need to do a mastectomy. He said, by the time I take out the tumor and get clean margins, there won't be much left. So you would be happy with the result. So that told me, number one, here's a doctor who's not going to lie to me. Number two, he's going to try and save my life. And number three, he cares about how I feel about what happens afterwards. So I picked him, of course. What I didn't know is that he was going to find many opportunities to tell me how small my breasts were. So the next one was when we were talking about implants. All right? So mastectomy, they take the breast off, of course, cut it off. And then sometimes you have a choice. You can say, okay, build me a new breast out of fat tissue on my body. As it happens, I didn't have enough fat to build another breast. So we're looking at implants. Now, most women looking at implants are taking this opportunity to be as big as they want. But I wasn't going that direction. So I said to the surgeon, I said, I don't want to buy all new clothes. I don't want to have a lifestyle change. I don't want to tell guys to look up here. I just want to replace what I'm losing. He said, well, they don't make them that small. The third time he told me I had small breasts, I said, you know, this is not news to me, although I've never heard it as a professional opinion before. So that worked on his head. So the next time we had a conversation, he said, you know, it is a good thing you're small. I said, oh, really, why is that? Gravity doesn't affect you as much. Great, that's all well and good. So then I go to the plastic surgeon. The very first thing he says is, you're going to need a lift. Turns out gravity affects me just like it affects everybody else. So as it happens, the breast cancer surgeon also said, you know what? We're going to be able to save the nipple. I said, great, let's save all the body parts we can. On the other hand, the plastic surgeon, I told him that. I said that the breast cancer surgeon says he's going to save the nipple. He said, you don't want him to do that. I said, really, why not? He said, because it will be 2 inches lower and pointing at the floor. You're right, I don't want that. So I said, so what do we do instead? So he said, well, what you do instead is you have nipple reconstruction. Now we all live in the age of the internet. When you hear a phrase like that you don't know what it is, you go straight to Google and say, what is nipple reconstruction? And what they said was, well, they harvest the skin from your lady parts and your butt crack. That freaked me out. So I go straight to the plastic surgeon. I said, so, as I understand the process, you're going to build a nipple by harvesting skin from lady parts and butt crack. And he said, well, we used to do that. Okay, so I don't know what the circumstances were that changed that they used to do, that they still do it, but he said, that's not what we do now. Now we just cut a little piece of skin off the top of the breast and tuck it under and make a nipple out of it. He started, you know that paper you sit on in the doctor's office? He started drawing a triangle that he was going to cut on the breast. I made him draw that triangle 3 times before all was said and done. The last time was just before we were wheeling into surgery. And I had one more question for him. I said, okay, so I have prominent nipples. I said, is my nipple going to be permanently hard?
Yeah! That could be an issue.
Could be an issue. So he said, well, what we have learned, he didn't answer the question directly. What he said is, what we have learned is the nipple softens and flattens over about 6 months after surgery. So we make it longer. I am so glad I asked that question before I woke up from surgery. 6 months later, it was still tipping over. So I said, now what? He said, okay, so we'll go in for nipple reconstruction revision surgery. Right? Yeah. So, okay, so we did that. Now that's an outpatient surgery, so you're awake during the surgery. So they asked me what kind of music I wanted. I said, okay, so I'm a 70s person. Give me Charlie and the MTA. I was out in 3 bars. So that was all well and good.
Thank you, love.
So the last thing that happened was I told my husband, I said, okay, so none of my bras are going to fit anymore. I'm going to have to buy all new bras. And he said, well, it so happens we have a friend who lives in Hawaii who owns a bra shop, and she specializes in breast cancer patients. I guess we'll have to go to Hawaii. So sure enough, last January for our 49th anniversary, we went to Hawaii. And I spent 4 hours with my friend's bra shop and got everything all fitted. And she ended up at the end, she said, okay, so you've gotten samples from my shop, but in order for you to order more, you need to look through this French lingerie catalog and order whatever you want. I'm like, French lingerie? They have lace and ribbons and everything matches. I've never treated myself that way before. So I ordered the lingerie, and then I went and I gave this talk in a local cancer support group, and I was telling the story at the end. And my friend who was at the group with me said, well, Carol, you know why I gave you the French lingerie catalog, right? And I said, well, yeah, because they're beautiful and they're luxurious and they match and they have ribbons and lace. And she said, no, that's not it. It's because French women are small.